changing the topology of something, or making topology. So in Lightbox, let's look for a tool that's pretty cool. Here is the Ryan Kingsley model for anatomy. Let's go to Lightbox, turn it off, click and drag out, and hit Edit. An amazing model, but it's made out of 1,000 subtools. So I couldn't use it in anything. Pretty cool for, reference though. How about I use just the head for something? So first off, let's start by merging some subtools together, like all of them. I'll just click on the top one, go down to Merge, and then I can merge visible. Now a lot of times that doesn't do much, so I'll go to merge down and uncheck this note. That way I can just merge down. And I'll just keep clicking away until the whole thing has become one huge mesh. Then I'll lop off its head. There we go. Not too shabby. Alright, so to lop off a head, we hold Control and Shift, click and drag, and I'll get to about right there. Then, what we'll do is go down here to Geometry, and there is a feature in here called Delete Hidden. Of course, I like to move this one around quite a bit, and I don't use it very often. So there it is. It's under Modify Topology. So now everything else is gone. Under Subtool, I just have a head. I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to turn it into a Dynamesh. That is under Geometry. And then Dynamesh. This one, I'll need a lot of resolution. I want 0 blur and Dynamesh. Good. Now, there's some features in here that has to go away. Mainly, see how there's holes in the mesh? Those need to disappear in some manner. So in this case, I'm going to have to add some to the mesh just to get rid of those. Okay, to do that, I'm just going to maybe use these spheres. Yeah, there we go. Let's append these Z-spheres. Click and drag a Z-sphere out. Find the Z-sphere in the model. There it is. And you notice the head's really hard to manage because it has a pivot point that's kind of odd. So we'll go in here to the subtool that I just converted over to a Dynamesh, which I think is this one right here. Yep. And let's take transform and set pivot on it. Frame it. There we go. So now the head and the Z-sphere are one. Let's go to subtool, go back to the Z-sphere, make sure the head is showing, and you can hit A to preview this Z-sphere. So I'll scale this Z-sphere down. So it's in the center of the head. I'll move it down. When you move a Z-sphere, you should probably turn on symmetry. That way you can keep it in the center of the world. Scale it. And I can make a new Z-sphere by going to Draw. See the green button, or green box? The green one indicates that it's in the exact center. Now I'm going to have to do this so there is just one, and I can go to Move. Basically, I'm building a pseudo body for this to close off the mesh. Not the whole body, but just for the head. And all I'm doing is adding new Z-spheres. And getting enough mesh that I can play around with the Move tool. So I hid the model. And there we go. We got enough mesh to play around with now. Now I could keep it a Z-sphere if I wanted to, and I could just go to the Move Elastic tool and start forming this to kind of fit the model a little bit better. Again, I'm only interested in blocking off the head so it's a solid chunk. So I've decided to go in here and make this a polymesh, and go in here to Z-spheres and append that polymesh. Okay, I'll work on the polymesh instead, because I won't feel bad if I use Dynamesh that way. I only want 128 resolution. In fact, I might want something lower than that. There we go. Click and drag over here, Control down to rebuild, and then go back to Subtool to show the head. There we go. Turn on symmetry. So you can see this is kind of a sick and wrong game of kind of moving things around, but I want to definitely use this Move tool because it keeps a good smooth mesh. It is very patient driven, however. And I want to keep those deep holes. I just don't want them to be holes that go all the way through the mesh. There we go. And then I will proceed to try to make this a little thicker in that area to encumber these little stumps. Good. Is there any more holes? I think there is a little hole in the back of the head, located right there. That should fill it. Now, I want to merge this one and this one together, so I will drag that up, and that is to move up. Now I can go to this one and merge down. Now, with this all showing, don't forget this part is still a Dynamesh. I can go like this. Control, click and drag down. And that should create a new Dynamesh. If it does not, that's okay. Let's just use this. So I undid that. And there is a trim brush in here. There it is, clip rectangle. Using Control and Shift, I can go like this. And it's the other way. There we go. We have a nice lopped off head. Now I can use this to change the topology. So this video is going to be how to take a model, make it into Dynamesh, and then I'll make a separate video called Augmenting Topology. We'll also call this maybe Making a Base Mesh. That sounds a little bit better and easier to type out. So, I'll see you in the next video. Just look for 2.